Hey all, and welcome into another Tilted tier list. Today we are going to do what we did for the first Hollow Knight and do a tier list for every single boss. And like that tier list, we're going to be separating it out between difficulty and design, because I think it's important to tackle these bosses in two different ways. One is the thematic nature of like how they look like, what are the mechanics like, and the other is how tough are they? Because a lot of people like to hear what I struggled with, but that's a different discussion to what I consider to be a good boss. Because dying a bunch to a boss doesn't make it a bad boss, and one-shotting a boss doesn't make it a bad boss either. So let's get started immediately with Moss Mother, our tutorial boss. What should I go first? Well, first of all, I'll mention the tiers. They're a bit silly. You know, they're S to F. I thought I'd make them a bit goofy, give them some funny names. Of course, we have the Radiant Markov being the hardest challenge. In original Hollow Knight, it's not, but you know, we'll say it is. I could have put Radiant Radiance there. Path of Pain, obviously, it's a lot easier than people think, so that's why it's not S. But yeah, I had trouble with like the middle ground names, because like, well, what am I gonna? What's something funny that I could put that's slightly hard but not too hard? And it's Dream Nailing Marissa in the Pleasure House. That's kind of tough, because you always want to hear her song. And Bench, I don't know. D tier is Massive Moss Charger, and F tier is of course Zote. In terms of design, obviously Mantis Lords is the S tier. That is the greatest boss ever constructed, and people can fight with me in the comments about that one. A is iconic. B for set dressing, C is for flower quest. It's not a very good design, but I don't begrudge it too much. D is Markov again. It's the highest for difficulty, one of the lowest for design, but I couldn't give dog water design better than bile water. Right? So, let's go straight into this Moss Mother. In terms of difficulty, this is a tutorial boss and is not very difficult at all. These bosses are subject to change as I fill out this list, and I might shift things around to make things a bit easier. But I don't think there's much easier than the Moss Mother. Fair enough, you get the Zote tier. In terms of design, I'd say it's very serviceable. It doesn't do much, right? So it's just pretty much there to explain the presence of the little moss scrubs, and give you a tutorial boss. So yeah, the fight is pretty easy. Pretty easy to understand, which is why I'm giving this maybe a bit higher. It dives, it slams, it summons. It doesn't summon anything particularly hard, so we'll give you middle of the road for that. Bell Beast. Bell Beast is our guy. In terms of a difficult boss, he's sort of like the first boss that you might have to think about even a bit. I died to him a couple of times. He's not too hard. I would say that, you know, he's a benchmark. He's your first like challenge. In terms of design of a fight, it's very easy to read. It's very understandable, but at the same time, there's not much going on. It's not very complex. There's not much you can do in this fight, except, you know, take your very easy mandated punish windows. You can make like a couple more, but I don't think the design of this boss is particularly interesting to me. Lace 1 is an interesting one, because there is Lace 2 and 3. In terms of difficulty, it's not a tough fight. I'd say it's probably down at the bottom. It's a miracle that Lace was really holding back here, because the second and third fights are pretty nuts, but this one is very easy. I'd say the only reason I died to this one so much early on is because I was fucking around with all of the tools and trying to do some silly stuff. So I'd say difficulty wise, it's lower. It's very much low. Design wise, Lace looks really sick. You can easily, again, understand what she's trying to do. I'd say she goes from set dressing to iconic. In terms of a fight, like the design of a fight, I'd say is a bit lower, but like the design of Lace as a character is probably an iconic. We'll have a lot more to say about Lace in the in the later tiers. Fourth chorus is easy as shit, man. I could I beat this on my first try, and even then it has, like, you know, it has a quick phase 2 button to destroy it. Yeah, there's not much to say about the difficulty of fourth chorus. The only thing to watch out for is there is lava and it deals 2 damage to you. So at a fight where you're guaranteed to have like 5 masks, if you get hit by him into the lava, that is 4 health, which is, you know, it's likely a one-shot if you are not full health. So in that case, it could be bumped up, but even then, it's so easy to dodge anything that it does, and then you can just kill its phase 2 with the falling rocks. Design wise, it is, I like it. I definitely like it. It's definitely giving me some like Dark Souls 1 Ceaseless Discharge vibes, where you sort of walk past it and it's like, that's guaranteed to be a boss. It's just not fighting me at the moment. And its attacks are fun to dodge. The breaking ground is, you know, it's tough when you don't know it's coming, right? So all of a sudden you realize you have no ground to stand on. But also, you know, visually it looks really cool, and it does some good world building for the chorus, like mech robots that you find in the underworks near the was it the 12th architect? One of the architects, you know the one, the merchant. So I'd say they go very nicely in set dressing. That's what it does. Savage Beastfly. Yes. Everybody hates the Savage Beastfly, including me, because why does this thing exist? I'd say this rockets right to A. Just thinking, without even thinking about it, it's an A, it's an A rank there. This thing, it has the hitbox of a truck. It tracks you like nobody's business when it charges, and it summons ads, and some big ads. So it is real tough to get a bead on him, get some actual punish windows on him. And the reward you get for him is dog shit. So yeah. In terms of the design, I mean, it's a big fly. It's the fight itself is not very readable. You don't get good feedback on what you're doing wrong, and then all of a sudden you have 74 ads chasing you down. It's just bad. I just don't like it. Yeah. Sister Splinter. Let's not dwell on that one. Again, we have more Savage Beastfly coming up not too long later. So, Sister Splinter. It's not too difficult. I'd say what was difficult about Sister Splinter is, you know, I did this boss pre-patch, and the ads, the spinning twig guys, you know, they deal 2 damage to you, which is rough. But they don't do that anymore. So, I mean, I'm going to judge it based on what I thought. I'd say this I don't know. The ads, I killed them pretty quickly. I realized that, oh, you just do a full Silkstorm and you can kill both of them pretty much immediately and deal some good damage to Sister Splinter. So it's not too hard, but you have to figure that out, which could be hard to do. So I put that in B for now. In terms of design, I'm not too big a fan of, you know, difficulty coming from the ads. But other than that, I really like the idea of, like, they're hanging from the ceiling, they slam down. It's sort of like Fourth Chorus again. But they also have a mechanic of shrinking the arena, which is really cool, and you have to spend time like clearing the vines out. So I'd say design wise, it's not the worst. I'd say it's probably good set dressing. Now the Skull Tyrant. Skull Tyrant is a bit tough because he's big, he's chunky, and he deals 2 damage to you. But other than that, it reminds me a bit of Failed Champion. In the first game. Once you get the pattern down and understand how he moves and where your actual punish windows are, then you sort of get him easy. I'd say him and his second fight are exactly the same, so I'll be judging them the same. I'll put them as a benchmark. In terms of design, they are basically an enemy they made a bit bigger, and the fight isn't very interesting. Again, he's just big guy, but he's better than he doesn't deserve to be in the savage beast fly tier, not at all. And I'd say Bell Beast probably goes a bit higher. There's nothing wrong with the Bell Beast fight. It's probably, yes, it's fine. It doesn't deserve to be compared to Markov in any way. In any case. Morwing. I thought Morwing pre-patch, when a lot of his attacks did 2 damage, now they don't. Yeah, Morwing and Sister Splinter, they definitely did not deserve to be nerfed. This fucker definitely deserved to be nerfed. Yeah. Morwing was fine. In terms of difficulty, again, you'll get caught out by the double damage a bit, and you know, you get a bit confused by the trajectory of some of the spinning blades, but it's not too bad. It's an easy fight to get caught up in the momentum of it, and like, you get hit once, then you get hit again, and then it gets hard to recover. So I'll give you above Sister Splinter. And you know, I think Sister Splinter goes down now that I'm thinking about it. In terms of design of Morwing, it's really cool that it sort of stalks you through the through Greymoor, and you sort of see it a few times, and it can be displaced by the fleas showing up somehow, which is funny. In terms of like thematics of the story, it's really entertaining. In terms of the fight itself, I like it. I do like it. I'd say it probably, again, just beats out Sister Splinter. Its attacks are very understandable, even when they aren't understandable, like the spinning blades. You know you shouldn't get hit by them. It's just hard to judge them sometimes, you know? So I'll put it there. Widow. Our first Weaver. I dislike the Widow. I dislike fighting the Widow. I'll speak about that when we go on to design, but for difficulty, I say it's definitely harder than Morwing. The thing I hate about Widow is the bouncing bells, and yes, that is the entire fight, but you'll see when we talk about First Sinner, which is a much more clean version of a Widow fight, you'll see that, like, you know, the bouncing bells just sort of make this a chaotic fight more than it needs to be. I like that, you know, Widow is a Weaver. They ripped off their mask. They, you know, they have the nails like stuck in them. So you can sort of tell that they're serving, but they're a bit mad, and you know, story-wise they're pretty interesting. You know, they ask a lot of questions of the player, like, are the weavers the bad guys, you know? And design-wise, you know, if it's just Widow as a character, they go like B/A. If we're incorporating the design of a fight, I don't like it as much. I'll be generous and give it C, I think. Double Moss Mothers is a bit of a weird one for me. Well, it's just Moss Mothers ×2. I can pretty much just put them there. They're a bit more interesting because, you know, there's 2 of them, and you know, it's a more complex fight. Yeah, there's not much to say about them, which is the trouble. Savage Beastfly 2. I think this is our first Radiant Markov fight. I hate this encounter because not only is it the Savage Beastfly, but now the Savage Beastfly is taking out your platforms to stand on, and it's summoning guys that deal 2 damage to you with projectiles, which leave indestructible creep on the ground, which also does 2 damage to you. I mean, yeah, you can make it better with the fire resistance spell, but I don't think that makes this fight any better, really. And you know, that is probably the worst boss in the game. At a glance, I can't think of anything worse. Oh no, I can definitely think of one thing worse. Ignore that last statement. It will come back later. Let's see, a Kragler. It's not really a boss though. It's just an encounter, really, and not a very interesting one. They could have done a lot better with the whole hiding under platforms mechanic. I feel like that was more of a tech demo mechanic than anything else. Difficulty wise, it's just annoying. Once you get the rhythm of it, it's not too hard. So I mean, when you encounter it, it's probably tough. I'd say the double damage and how easy it is to get hit and whatnot, I'd put it there. And design wise, it's just not interesting. Great conch flies. These guys aren't too hard. I'll put that over here. They're a bit harder than Lace One. I didn't have trouble with these guys. In fact, I found them very enjoyable. Their mechanics, you know, it forces you to, you know, plan. It forces you to judge trajectories, get some niche punishes here and there. There's some good things that you can do in this fight. And in that case, I will probably put them high B. They're not quite iconic, but they're like on the high end of set dressing, I guess. And now we get our Act 1 finishers. So Last Judge. The problem with Last Judge is that he's not a difficult fight, but he's a very long fight, and then the run back when you die to him is very long and very dangerous and perilous. So you show up to him tilted out of your mind, and then you die easily because you're tilted. So I mean, I guess in that respect, like, if it's just the Last Judge, I probably put him at like B, but the run back pushes him up because you're tilted. But should I judge that? You know, these are the things I must last judge. I'll put him in high B because I don't think he himself is a particularly hard boss. And you know, design wise, I don't think there's anything I dislike about the fight, really. Your punish windows are a bit And I'm not sure I like the idea of him exploding after he dies, dealing 3 damage, by the way. When I beat this guy, I was just so exhausted. I put down the controller and took 3 damage. And if he kills you with that explosion, you have to fight him again. Luckily, I was on full HP or something, and I didn't die to him in that case. I did get hit by it, though. So design-wise, the fight is pretty good, but the thing surrounding the fight isn't very good. He's better than the Moss Mothers. Better than Sister Splinter, Morwing, 4th Choir. Do I put him there? This B tier is going to bloat very quickly, I think. No, I think he can go up there. I think he deserves it. Good for him. Because the more I zoom out of the Last Judge fight, the more I enjoy it. It's just it has, you know, a few things that is just designed to spoil it slightly. Oh well. Okay, Phantom time. Through the Mist, our speedrunner route. Phantom is pretty cool, but the problem with Phantom is you always, if you're doing a blind playthrough, you're going to show up to Phantom's fight 74 years late and very overpowered. This is a boss that you're supposed to fight around the same time you fight the Last Judge. Alright? But nobody is going to figure out the Mist that quickly. Nor would they want to. They just go there, say, I can't really figure this out at the moment. I must be missing something. It's a Metroidvania. I've got to come back later. And then forget about it. Until, like, late Act 2, early Act 3 or something, and realize I probably have what I need to figure this out, and then trial and error through the Mist. So yeah, you're always going to come here late. It makes it not a very difficult fight. It's not even difficult when you go Last Judge, you know? It's pretty easy. What is there that she does that's difficult? She dashes at you and then she dashes to her nail that she threw. She slams, which I guess is a bit tough. She counters. She doesn't have much going for her. And I guess in that capacity, like, the character is really cool. She's, you know, Lace's sibling. They were spun to fade. And the whole exhaust organ powering the Mist. Which I'm not sure exactly what that is doing thematically in the story. It separates Sinner's Road and Bilewater. And sort of, you know, there's a route to the underworks there. Is she, like, helping keep Grandmother Silk asleep in some way with the exhaust that's polluting Bilewater? I'm not sure. I don't really know. Got to watch Mossbag for that one. But in terms of a fight, it's not bad. It says better than these. I'll put you there. It's mechanically not too interesting, but there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, I'll put you there for now. Cogwork Dance. I told you this B rank is gonna swell. Cogwork Dancers is our you know, just do this for now, right? Thematically, story wise, and you know, mechanically, it's one of the best fights constructed, you know, musically as well. It's not too difficult. I'd say it's in the enjoyable spectrum. I'd say it's harder than Mowing. It's harder than the Craggler. Craggler isn't that hard. Say I put it there. Yeah. We get your feet around later when I get upset that B B is like the 7 out of 10 of rankings. It's like when you don't know where to put them, you put them there, right? It is the age-old Team Cherry design philosophy of complexity through simplicity. You have something simple and you layer it such that it becomes a complicated fight via the emergent systems that you've created. It's the same with Mantis Lords and, you know, consequently Sisters of Battle. It's the same with Watcher Knights. It's the same with a couple of other bosses in this list. So Clockwork Dancers gets the easy S tier design. They have the best, you know, they have the most complete package of, you know, boss thematics and mechanics working together. You know, they are a mechanical boss, and their fight, it's you know, I've seen like analyses on the boss theme. It's like a fake waltz, right? Waltz is in a 3-beat time signature, right? And their theme is pretending to be a waltz, but it's not. It's a very fascinating idea. It's a 4-beat, but it's pretending to be a waltz. It's great. So like you take what's a good waltz boss theme? Ludwig, the Holy Blade. You can count out the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and it's steps to a dance. But Clockwork Dancers is slightly off, slightly wrong, and it's slightly deceiving. And then the last phase is, you know, Prepare to Cry edition. They've lost their partner and they are dancing alone. And, you know, the later Clover Dancers gets you the full context on the story, which makes it even more sad. Now, everybody's favorite, Trobio. Difficulty-wise, he is tough. Trobio and Tormented Trobio. I'm not sure if I want to judge these together, because at the stage you fight Trobio, he gives you about as much trouble as Tormented Trobio does, which is a lot. I'm going to say tentatively put him up there. A rank difficulty. And in terms of design, oh, he's just so dramatic and, you know, show off, and he's a theater kid who just is screwing with you. So, you know, his fight is chaotic. It requires your utmost concentration, and his personality just adds to it all. You're trying to find your very like slim punish windows without exposing yourself to danger. It's such a good fight. I put you in S. I love Trobio. I'm not even sure if it goes higher. Nothing beats Mantis Lords, and Clockwork Dancers is the Mantis Lords of this game. Like, I'm pretty sure they saw Mantis Lord's success and were like, what can we make for this game that would compare? And they made Clockwork Dancers. I see so much of Mantis Lord's DNA in Clockwork Dancers. That is the namesake of this tier, but I do love Trobio. We'll see. Garmund and Zaza. I'm gonna put these two together. It's not a great fight. It's just wild swinging and dodging, and I don't like it too much. Garmund and Zaza, you know, Kled and Skarl, they're cool characters, but their boss fight isn't too interesting. Difficulty wise, I did struggle a bit with Lost Garment especially, but that was more that I didn't want to interact with a fight, and his mechanics were a bit annoying more than they were difficult. I feel like, especially his projectiles were annoying to get through. So I'd put you guys together. I'd say probably there. Again, with bloating B tier. And in terms of design, I didn't quite like it. So I'd put you under Widow. Okay. Four brothers, Cygnus and Gron. These guys will gank you in the I've forgotten the area name. Deep Docks, yes. I fought these guys a bit late, so they weren't too hard for me. I've seen some people struggle a lot with this boss because it's a gang boss, but even if you have low damage, I don't think it's too hard. I'd probably put it high C. You do have a few ads to take care of, and it's easy to get complacent and, you know, get killed by these guys, because they do double damage, and they have some very interesting melee attacks. Or the first guy has some pretty interesting melee attacks where it's basically an anti-air. He attacks in front of him, then he attacks upwards, which can catch jumps of people trying to dodge if they're not fast enough. Design wise, I don't mind them, to be honest. They're just set dressing. They're probably not as good as Phantom, so I'll put you in the B tier, our ever growing B tier. And the Unraveled. Ooh, the Unraveled. I do not like the Unraveled. I'd say difficulty wise, they're one of the tankiest bosses in the game, and even though, you know, you can't really say any of their attacks in particular are too tough, they always seem to hit. They're so annoying. And Unraveled is just a boss which takes all of the mechanics that you've learned from this game and tells you you can't use that, or that, because you're going to do that and then you're going to dash into me and you're going to get hit. Right? Design wise, it's pretty cool that, you know, you have in White Ward, which is like ground zero for the haunting, basically, with the conductors basically putting silk in people and trying to make them immortal. Of course, it is illegal to die in the Citadel, because then you can't serve the Citadel. So thematically, it's really interesting story-wise. Mechanically, I don't really like it too much. Like, again, it just tells you, no, you're not allowed to use that. And it's such a marathon of a fight, it just gets annoying. So I'd probably put it like low D. Like, these bosses, Kragler and the Skull Tyrants, like, they're just uninteresting, right? This I actively like. I don't like it. I just don't. Yeah, I think that works. Disgraced Chef Lugoli. Difficulty wise, they're not too bad, but they have maggots, so I'm instantly inclined to, you know, take them a bit higher than I would. You do have to face a gauntlet beforehand. I'd say it's harder than any of this. On Kragler even. It's one of those bosses which can catch you off guard. I think we can move this down, definitely. And in terms of design, you know, they were kicked out of the chambers for crimes against food, I guess. I don't know. And their fight is just, they just dash into you, they fire maggots at you. I just don't like it. I don't like it. Probably it's on the same level as the Unraveled, really. I don't like it at all. Just for maggots. Just for maggots. Just move on. The huge flea it's not even a boss. It's just It's just a mildly challenging encounter, one which you can cheese extremely easily. So I'll put it in like there. High Zote tier. You can completely destroy this fight just by going under the platform, and you never have to encounter, like, you never have to like dodge it or do anything. Just, yeah. Design wise, the arena ruins the fight pretty much because it's so easily cheesed. I mean, it just, you know, it's a big ball. There's nothing doing about this fight. It's cute, I guess. It's angry. I don't know. Ooh, Father of a Flame is next. This is another fight where you have a really shit run back and not a very hard fight. So it's in the last judge territory. I think I died like a couple of times to this fight. And that was pretty much at the end of Act 2, where I pretty much was like very set up in terms of tools and health. So in that respect, I guess it's a pretty hard to fight. It's harder than a Kragler, definitely. Is it harder than Lost Garment? I don't know, like going back to this fight, like the second time you fight this fight, would I consider it a tough fight? Something that could kill me? I definitely think that Lost Garment could kill me. Say probably Lugoli couldn't. Yeah, we'll put you there, I guess, for now. Design wise, I think it's really cool. These people are like cultists. They worship a giant lantern which summons living fire, and that's why they're not really haunted, is because they're burning the silk away from themselves. In terms of a fight, the homing fire is a bit annoying, but the whole idea of like pogoing the lanterns and destroying all of them, and then like trying to avoid the incoming fire is really cool. So I do really like this fight. Too bad it's really tucked away, and also well, the run back is horrible, and the reward is really terrible as well, because the Wisp tool is a blue slot, which you are fighting for blue slots in this game, as well as it doing like minuscule amounts of damage. So unfortunately everything surrounding this fight is a bit bad, but the fight itself and the boss itself is pretty cool, I'd say. I mean, yeah. He's, yep. What can be said? You have a 5-minute trudge through the depths of hell itself to get to this fight. After you do that, you have been maggoted, poisoned, your silk is depleting, then you have to fight an entire fucking gauntlet of multiple waves. And then, if you get through that, whatever resources you have left is devoted to trying your hardest to survive long enough against Grohl to learn half of his moves before you die to his 2 HP attacks and maggots and his fat ass. I hate this. This is single-handedly the worst thing in the game. And it's completely unforgivable, and this is the only reason I cannot give Silksong a 10 out of 10. The only reason. And I had to beat him for Steel Soul completion, which is the most painful thing. It just makes me sad, really. Yeah. Voltworm. It's not hard. There's nothing hard about this fight. They pretty much saw Umu and made it immobile, vulnerable at all times, and yeah, it's not very hard. I'll put it there. If you're getting hit more than a few times by this thing, it's I'm not sure what to say. I mean, design wise it's pretty cool, the mechanics are pretty interesting, but there's just nothing difficult about it, really, I don't think. So design wise, I put it there. It's not interesting. It is a worm in a cave which has lightning. Raging conchfly. I really enjoy the conchfly fights. I don't know why. A lot of people hate them a lot, but I really don't. Raging conchfly is pretty tough as well. Say I put him here because he goes fast. He summons, and I don't know. Mechanically, there's not much to the fight. It's just a matter of not getting caught out, because he goes so fast and he summons all of these like drill guys, which you know, they'll swarm you. But I do like the fight, and in true Team Cherry fashion, they've made a duo boss fight. With the law being that when one dies, they get really fucking pissed, and you know, they're really sad because that was their life partner and you just killed them. Alright. Next is First Sinner, which I'll do this for now. I think First Sinner is one of the best fights in the game. Difficulty wise, I don't know. I don't think it's definitely a harder fight than Widow, but Widow teaches you how to fight First Sinner, right? So if there is no Widow, then First Sinner is like maybe an A tier, but because Widow is here, it goes like even below Widow. But on its own, I'd say it's an A rank fight. And I don't mind putting it there. Design wise, it's Widow but cleaner. It's more consistent. And you know, when it hits like second phase, and you know, you have to start really concentrating on where it is safe to stand, because there's shit being thrown at you from like every direction. There's a rune rage going on. Then on top of that, you have to find time to chase down and get some hits off on the First Sinner and stop the First Sinner from healing, which is really like thematically interesting. That, you know, it's a Weaver, of course it combined as well. It's really cool. Yeah, probably one of my favorite fights in the game, definitely. Brood Mother. It's another one of those fights where it's like, it's not difficult really. It's just you want it to be over so much that you rush it down and you're impatient and you get hit. So in that regard, it's basically like the Kragler. Design wise, it's interesting that this is the thing that births all of the jailers for the slab. But we have that sort of same thing with the Last Judge. There's a race of the judge insects that, you know, they do the things. They've done that sort of idea before, and the boss fight itself is just disgusting. It just lunges at you. It's basically more disgusting Grozmother, so I can't really give it very high in what I think of its design. It's just a blob. Yeah. Second Sentinel, though. I think the Second Sentinel is a pretty interesting fight. I don't think it's too hard. And by not too hard, I'm not gonna say it's easy, definitely, because he definitely can catch you out if you're not like ready for the fight. Which is gonna be your first time. You're not gonna be ready for it. But once you have gone half into the rhythm of a fight, it gets pretty easy. I'd say in that respect, I put you in B tier, probably. And design-wise, it's really interesting. He has like pseudo like nail arts, well, needle pin art. I don't know. And you know, he's very mechanical. Again, it's like a sort of retelling of Clockwork Dances in that way, and you have to do the quest for the memory games to get him up. I like Second Sentinel, especially his design is pretty interesting. But could I put it in A? I kind of like him. I will put him up there. It's a pretty interesting fight. Now Chakra. Chakra's fight is chaotic as shit, man. He's just dashing everywhere, slamming, throwing. Where to put him? Again, I just want to put him in B tier. I want to put everything in B tier. I'd say he's harder of a Widow. Maybe not Lost Judge. Put you there. And design-wise, we all love Chakra. I'd say we can put you... I don't know, the fight, though. I don't like the fight, is the thing. And I don't like fighting with Chakra either. In the Hunter's March arena. Because he got me hit like twice in that fight. which is really annoying. So I put it there, I think. Again, I mean, that's just both exactly the same spot in B tier, but whatever. Chakra will make do. Lace 2. Lace 2 is hard as shit. If Lost Lace didn't have, like, you know, 3 phases to it, it would probably be as hard as Lost Lace. Because you take what you know from Lace 1 and you just, like, dial it to 11. And Lost Lace is, like, 17. So I had a lot of trouble with Lace 2. I'd say I put you there. Now, design-wise, I don't know. I put probably original Lace lower. I put Lace 2 higher. Ooh. I might even put Lace 2 here. I think Lace 2 is the best Lace fight. It's tough. It's very close between Lace and Lost Lace, or Lace 2 and Lost Lace. The first one is not getting a look in here. I'm sorry. It's just too slow and it's too not Lace. But you get to be put there. I like... Excuse me, 1 second. Excuse me, I am back. I'm sorry, like I've said, I'm recovering from a cold, so I'm a bit congested and might have to skip out. But, you know, I still have this long, I'll make it to the end of the video. We were talking about Lace 2, weren't we? It's a lot faster. The arena is smaller, so you don't have as many places to hide. So it feels more like a test of skill and maneuverability than it does with Lost Lace. Again, we'll talk more about Lost Lace when she comes up right at the end. But Lace 2 is a really, really fun fight. And yeah, we'll talk more about her later. Grandmother Silk. It's not a very hard fight. It's Widow, then First Sinner, then, you know, Grandmother Silk. It's another like Weaver type enemy. In the fact that it, you know, pulls blades or bells from the sky and then slams them down, and you have to dodge them. In that case, you know, it's not very tough, and I have beaten Grandmother Silk while cursed, so it, you know, I've fought this boss a lot. It's not too hard, and as far as final bosses go, it's not too bad. I'd give it right at the top of B. I can probably move the goalie down. I'm okay with that. In terms of design, she's really fun to fight. And she has some really cool like mechanics and excuse me. She has some really cool mechanics, and animations are really cool. Like when she grabs you with the strings and does the grab attack, that's really cool. You know, it's a really good design. I'll put it up there, definitely. That's like debatable S right there. But now we move on to Act 3. The Bell Eater. Bell Eater. I fear this thing. When I first fought him, I feared him greatly. And I still do. I have, you know, I'll put it up there, and I'll put it down here. It is just spaghetti on your screen at all times. So much area denial such that you can't even like react or dodge most things. It's just so stupid. I hate this boss so much. It's so inconsistent. It's hard to read the attacks. You don't get any feedback on what you're actually doing wrong in the fight. It's just try not to be where the attacks are, idiot. And that isn't helpful. We don't even get to kill it in the end, which is also sad, but I guess giving Beast the kill isn't the worst. Let's see. Clawfather. Difficulty wise, I didn't have too much trouble with the Clawfather. I don't think I died to the Clawfather. It's in Act 3, so you're going to be like very well established in terms of your power, and then it just like shoves a bunch of really, you know, Greymore enemies at you, and then you get the Clawfather fight, which, you know, don't like add boss fights, but this one sort of does it decently. It definitely can mess you up. I didn't really have trouble with it. I think I've put it there. And design wise, he looks really cool. He doesn't have too many attacks, which is okay because he has the ads, and those create the complexity in the fight. And I like the idea that they summon you to their, like, they blame you for the complete ruin, the void swallowing everything, and they're like, you know, you're gonna stand trial. And then they're like, oh damn, Hornet got hands. So in that way, I do definitely like them. I'll put them... there. I think that's fair. Phantom goes up a few spots. Clawfather gets right below there. Yeah. By the time you fight Clawfather, you should have the damage to take out the claws that are summoned as the fight goes on. And his animations are pretty interesting as well. It's like the chains and like the slamming and the sparks that his like metal beak is slamming down, and you know, it's pretty good imagery. Zango. I didn't fight him in my playthrough, but I have since fought him. It's not a very interesting boss. He heals, and you're pretty much encouraged to use the tool that, you know, is used to extract the plasmium. I didn't fight him at a stage where I had that tool, so I pretty much had to out DPS his healing. And the fact that you can even go into that fight with that being a thing is already a red flag. So difficulty wise, he's not tough. He's just you just gotta stop him healing, or like damage him fast enough to stop him, or like out damage his healing, which is annoying. Yeah, difficulty wise, I mean, the fact that he can just be cheesed places him there probably. And in terms of design, it's not good. It's not good. Yeah, I think you go there. I think you can go there. The fact that you can cheese the fight doesn't make it bad, like as bad as these, I think. Just makes it not very interesting. Watch her at the edge. This guy is tough. Just aura farming like at the edge of the world. Like, yeah, my kingdom died, but I'm still here. Difficulty wise, he is again a what's his name? Failed champion. He hits you with massive moves. You just got to stay out of the way as much as you can until you have your very small punish windows. But this guy feels like more of a fight than that. So he is very tough. I'll put him in A. And design-wise, I think he's pretty interesting. I put him... I don't think he's that interesting. I don't think he's I don't think he's iconic interesting. Yeah, that should be fine. Gives you a nice memento as well, so it's not too bad. Grr, the outcast. I don't like this guy. Difficulty wise, he's probably going to kill you the first time you encounter him, because he has so much area denial, and you sort of have to get how the fight works to be able to qualify for fighting him. But after that, it's just a matter of killing him. Just murder him. So difficulty wise, he gets put in this tier, I think. Top of C. Excuse me. In terms of design, I don't like it. I don't like it. He's just a big man with traps, and his traps are really annoying to get rid of, because hitting them makes them expand, and then they take 14 seconds to go away after that. So I probably put him like here. I don't know. There's a lot of fights that I just think are meh, and then a lot of fights are just like, please remove these from the game. But I'll tell you one thing for nothing. Tormented Trobio is up next. And let me tell you, he is tough as nails. I'll put you up there, man. And I will put you up here. Probably the best fight in the game. It's up there. It's definitely up there. Difficulty wise, he's just ramped up Trobio. His bombs now go in a diagonal pattern. He's a lot faster. His tornadoes shoot out after he's done. And it's just really fun. And he's still being his overdramatic self. Now he's in his like doom and gloom emo phase. Like, oh, woe is me. I've tried to save this kingdom and I've failed. Now all that's left is the sweet embrace of death. I love Trobio so much. He's probably more difficult than Bellita, and yeah, probably more difficult than Savage Beastfly. I just don't like the idea of these two being separated, but I guess for the sake of it, why not? The Pinstress is just annoying. She's not hard, it's just a matter of patience. I would put you... She does have some tricky attacks, right? She's probably... I think harder than, I think, between these two. The thing with a Pinstress is that she is just floating outside of your range for the entire fight, and you're just waiting for her to come down and stop throwing shit at you. It's just annoying. I don't like this fight. But the fact that when she like does her dash downwards and then she dashes again, that's pretty interesting. Pretty like, you know, interactable part of a fight. Put you there. Yeah. Pale Stag. Pale Stag is no eyes, basically. Pale Stag is make sure that you aren't biting off more than you can chew for fight. It's not very hard at all, I'd say. You can get caught out by it. So I put it like top of D. But I didn't have much trouble with it. And design wise, it's not very interesting either. It's just dodging and chasing down, and for some reason in this fight in particular, you cannot hit the Pale Stag through the bottom of platforms, which you can do for pretty much any enemy in this game. So yeah, it's a Gur tier. Now Clover Dancers. Well, first of all, you definitely go up there. I don't think it's as good as Clockwork Dancers. It's a faster fight, which makes it more entertaining. But thematically, I think it just slightly loses out to Clockwork Dancers. Difficulty-wise, it's definitely harder. Especially since you can only hit one, and the weird tornado move, I still have no idea how to dodge that consistently. So where did I put Clockwork Dancers? I put you over here, and we're at risk of extending this downwards. Say it is harder. It is A tier. Is it harder than Watcher? I think it might be. So I'll put you there. Alright. On the home stretch now. We are at the dream bosses. And first things first. I mean, I guess Clover Dancers was also a dream boss. So, Scar Singer Carmelita. This is one of the most entertaining fights. Best soundtrack in the game. It's above Trobio. Nothing is beating Growl here, because the fight, it's not even about the fight, it's about the run back. It's about the mental anguish and torture that boss made me go through. Never in my life have I like had to get up from my desk and detox from whatever it is the fuck Growl did to my psyche. We're talking about Carmelita. Okay, Carmelita's really challenging. She blocks you, she has really big attacks, she has projectiles, she dashes, she's fast. She has a lot of attacks which cover a lot of ground, so it's really hard for you to actually get in there and hit her without her next attack like basically checkmating you. And there's also a a gauntlet that you have to fight beforehand. It's not too tough, so it's not Grover Great, so you don't have a 10-minute run back filled with maggots before you have to get back and fight her, so it's not too bad. Design wise, she's definitely up there. Where does she land? I think the whole story with the scar definitely boosts her up as well. I think she goes there. I think that's fine with me. I think Lace 2 can go up here as well. Okay, Shrine Guardian Seth. He's tough as well, but it's another rhythm fight, which once you get the rhythm, you sort of understand the fight. But he definitely will beat your ass in the meanwhile. So I would put him probably next to Lace 2. Probably above Trobio, definitely. I think Lace 2 goes above these two as well. I think Beastfly can go down a bit. I think there. That's okay. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And design-wise, Seth is a beloved character in the mythos now of Team Cherry. And his fight, he uses his shield and his pin, and you get to be friends with him afterwards. Defeat is more of a transformation for him, which I think is very, very poetic. I definitely like this fight a lot. I put him at the low end of S. I'm happy with that. Now Nihilith. It's a tough fight, and I like what they're going for. It's just a bit tough to judge it because this is a floating fight with a lot of mechanics that can be considered annoying and a lot of mechanics that I do consider annoying, but it's so creative that it's hard to judge. It's tough though. It is tough. It's tougher than Watch at the Edge, tougher than Clove Dancers, tougher than these. I put it under Seth. And design wise, for all the things I mentioned, it's pretty up there. I think it's iconic. I don't think I like it quite as much as some of these other fights. I think I put it right there, which is instantly the same spot in A, third spot in A. I'm not doing that on purpose, but it just sort of works out that way. I like the fight. I like what it, sort of makes you do. It feels like an ordeal to get in and fight them, and you've got to be attentive at all times. Like if I go into dash, you've got to switch walls, and just a few attacks which the yellow the yellow lots of projectile attack which sort of kind of curve and home a slight amount. That's annoying. That's the only thing which really makes me think that's really impossible to dodge sometimes. Can you not? So Cross King Khan, I beat this guy first try. He's not too hard, but he's very easy to get hit by, especially when you're trying to look for some punish windows. But his pattern is very predictable. He will usually do the same order of attacks, which makes punishing him not too bad, but it's a really fun fight. So difficulty wise, I'd probably put him under Watch at the Edge. The problem with Crust King Khan's difficulty is getting to him, because you have to do 3 gauntlets in a row, and granted you get a shortcut at the end of that, fair enough. But then I didn't die to him, so I'm not sure if you have to do a gauntlet to get to him anyway. I feel like you do. So yeah. But I wouldn't. Wouldn't say first sinner is harder than these bosses. Put you there. And in terms of design, I like how they took a lot of cues for the crust enemies from like Hollow Knight. So you have like he looks very much like certain enemies in the Spirit Glade, the Lord Fool as well in the Colosseum. He sort of looks like, and his attacks, you know, they're very predictable. But this is a layered. I always say it, the complexity through simplicity fights. His attacks are very simple. You can read all of them very easily. But you know, he starts to go faster and faster, and when he layers some other simple attacks on top of it, and suddenly everything is very tough and you're fighting for your life. It's very entertaining. So he's one of probably my favorite fights in the game. But where do I put him? I think he goes right here. Maybe right here. I think that's fine. I sort of... I'm interested, well, I think it's entertaining to see how these tier lists fill out. Like what tiers get the most look in. So in terms of difficulty right now, the way it's looking is that we have like a bell curve, while the design wise it's slightly heavy at the bottom, but overall it's very even. Summon Savior is not going to help out. Really, it's not a hard fight. It's just you can only fight it in Steel Soul, and that's terrifying that you first time a boss in Steel Soul mode. So I'm not going to make it too hard. I don't wanna make this B tier go to the next row, so I'm gonna put him top of C. And design wise, he's just a void mass given like sentience. I don't think it's very interesting. Put you there. I don't think you're very interesting, like at all. And he just dashes around and does your general void enemy stuff. So okay, final boss, Lost Lace. Easily the hardest single fight in the game. In terms of, you know, it's not Growl, right? Fine. I would rather fight Lost Lace and die to it 10 times than, you know, do 4 runbacks of Growl. In terms of design, the problem with Lost Lace is readability. It was the same with Radiance, only the opposite problem, right? Radiance is yellow on white on yellow on white with light attacks in a really bright background, so you can't see shit. Lost Lace is black on abyss on void, and she literally intentionally hides inside her attacks such that you can't see when she's starting up her attacks, which get you hit sometimes completely unavoidably. In terms of like the mechanics of the fight, it's there are some choices which really annoy me. Like the further on into the fight you go, when she does an attack, she will immediately dip into the ground to evade your next attack, making it impossible to punish some attacks which you could punish earlier in the fight. It's just really annoying for no reason. It's like, give her 200 extra HP and let me just get those punishes, please. I'd rather that. And you know, some of her attacks are just lose situations. I think the counter is very interesting though, because you know, you get countered and you think to dash away, but you can't dash away because she'll catch you. She's faster than you. So if you jump away, she'll sometimes jump dash behind you and hit you to cover that option. So the only way to dodge once you've been countered by Lost Lace is to jump into her, which is very like unintuitive and might get you hit in other situations, but you have to be like on it like that, you know? So it has some really good things going for it. It's the fastest fight in the game. It's the most challenging fight. She's the tankiest boss in the game. It has some of the most interesting mechanics in the game and really forces you to use everything you've learned. And beating this boss on Steel Soul mode was one hell of a trek, let me tell you. So I don't know. It's hard to judge it too harshly. It is a Lace fight at the end of the day. I think it deserves, despite its challenges, it deserves that spot in S. And I would put it... I think it deserves to be just under Lace 2. I think that's fair. So yeah, we've gotten a very good host of S rank, a decent host of D rank designed bosses. Is there anything we would like to change here? I think this S rank for design is good. The A rank is also good. I think Father of Flame might go down, as well as Raging Conchfly. Lace 1, just for being Lace. Our first introduction to Lace is really good. Great Conchflies, Raging Conchfly, they're close enough. Watching the Edge. Chakra. C tier. I think Widow is wallowing a bit here, so we'll move you up. I think we might swap you with Cygnus and Gron, but I don't think you're getting any higher than that. I don't really like your fight too much. It's too chaotic. Bell Beast could probably get up on there. Yeah, I like that. These fights I just don't really like much. They're not interesting, or they're mechanically not interesting, or they have annoying mechanics. And these are just garbage. There's no other way to put it. Garbage. Remove them from the game, it would be a lot better. Or rework them, at least a bit. In terms of difficulty, let's see, what are we looking at? Lost Lace, Scroll, Carmelita, Trobio, Beastfly, Bellita. I think that's fair. Lace 2, Seth. I mean, these two probably could switch, but I'm not too fussed. Skin Khan. I beat that first try. That's the only thing that's not making me put this higher. And First Sinner, I just love the fight so much. I can't. I don't know. I don't feel like it's an unfair fight. So it doesn't have that like unfairness about it, which would, you know, Unrivaled has that unfairness. Trobio has a bit of unfairness. Even Tormented Trobio has a bit of unfairness. And these two definitely do. First Sinner is a very honest fight, which I appreciate about it. B tier. Pretty happy with this. And C tier. Probably put Crowfather a bit higher. Summon Savior a bit lower. Like that. And I don't know, I feel like Phantom is not getting the best look in here for difficulty, but I don't know. I fought Phantom a few times now, and they're just not hard. And these guys are just pathetically easy. Alright, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. But if you're not happy with that, then you know what? Great Conchflies, you can go up a bit. yeah. If you are not happy with that, then feel free to let me know in the comments and tell me what you would change about these lists. I'm pretty happy with these lists at the moment. Yeah. If there's any other tilted tier lists that you would like me to create in the future, then please let me know. If you want me to do like areas or OSTs or tools, I'm always on the lookout for a tier list. I play Smash Bros. I'm always one for some tier lists, right? But until then, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.